Good morning. You're listening to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Harlan Stone, the executive chairman of HMTX. Harlan, how you doing?
I'm very well today. Thank you, Kemp.
You've got some personnel changes at HMTX I want to go through. And for the benefit of the listener, I'd like to run through who HMTX is. Family-owned companies started by the Stone family, dates back, I think, all the way to the 1920s. Today, you're a top 10 supplier in the USA. We just finished our annual report. In the May issue, we talk about the top 10 suppliers. You actually grew 4% last year. That's pretty impressive based on the fact the market was down 3.2%. HMTX has several sub-brands. You've got Halstead, Metroflor, Aspecta, and Technoflor. Let's talk about these personnel additions you're having. You've just named a new CEO, Imran Ahmed. Tell us a little bit about his background.
Yes, thanks, Kemp. We're really delighted to have Imran join and lead our management team. Imran is an experienced player in the home improvement field. He was leading a huge segment of Masco's home improvement business, the architectural surfaces and designs, which included Behr Paint, as you may know, is one of the biggest exclusive brands at Home Depot. So he has a lot of experience with our biggest customer. But more importantly, he's experienced in engineering. He's experienced in global manufacturing, in global revenue creation, and we see Imran as positioning us for the future. And that's the exciting thing about bringing on a new leader who has a tangential relationship with our industry, but not directly from the flooring industry. So hopefully he's got a lot of great new ideas. His management style really fits in with our culture. Preserving our culture is very important to our company, and we think Imran is going to do a great job with that and the rest of our executive team.
Well, this is real interesting news. I guess that fills in a couple of the questions I had because, as you mentioned, one of your biggest customers is Home Depot, and it sounds like that Imran has got a great relationship with them already because the Masco paint brand, as you mentioned, Behr Paint, is exclusive to Home Depot.
Yeah, I mean, and Masco happens to be Home Depot's biggest supplier in their variety of categories. That they're a roll-up of home improvement companies. It's a broad engagement with people all across the whole enterprise, and he's well known there. We think he's going to expand all of our businesses. So I would say one of our focuses in 2026 going forward is to re-engage with the traditional flooring market. We have been maybe over-focused on our supply chain diversification and new factories being opened across the world in the last 12 to 16 months, as well as expanding our operations in Europe under the Aspecta brand, where we have had even more than 4% growth. So ironically, even in Europe, which is significantly down, we grew about 9% in Europe last year. So we see that there is some light. I won't say at the end of the tunnel, it's somewhere in the future, and we're preparing to take advantage of when that dam of demand breaks and people recognize their homes are valuable and they have some equity in them, and maybe they will put some of that equity to work to improve their homes and replace their floors. Also, the commercial markets, we have a long-term optimistic view there. Our main commercial market is healthcare, and we see healthcare as an inevitable large-scale investment going forward as our country ages, and as the need for more different and diverse forms of healthcare provision are erected across the nation.
We did a write-up on HMTX in our May issue because you're one of the top 10 players, and we talked about where you've been focusing on moving your manufacturing facilities, and you now have operations focused in the resilient category in Pennsylvania, Mexico, Thailand, and Vietnam, and you even have a relationship with some suppliers out of South Korea as well, right?
That's correct. So a lot of our technical product comes from South Korea, which supports the Technoflor brand. Over the last year, we were able to shift the vast majority of our production that was in China to new countries where we have identical capacity, quality, and actually the products integrate without a need to change SKUs. That's not a small lift. So the fact that we can actually not just go and find new suppliers, we partnered with our existing factories to make investments in new countries as we see the geopolitical risk turn into a geopolitical mess. And therefore, you need to have a diverse supply chain in order to avoid a variety of potential problems. So 2 of the 4 plants we have erected in the last several years that are now operational as of last year don't have an ocean between our main customer base and our supply base. So Monterrey, Mexico, which is just south of McAllen, Texas, and then Pittston, Pennsylvania, which is right in the heart of the Northeast, allows us to get product to the marketplace rapidly and without risk of tariffs, of shipping costs, of congestion and disruptions at the ports themselves. So that's very important, as well as then taking advantage of Southeast Asia as a new point of manufacturing. And we're super proud of our Thailand factory, 2 million square feet. Almost everyone who's been there is calling it the best new factory to come out in the recent shifting.
That's impressive. We should probably also talk about some other changes you have personnel-wise. Your CFO is named president, John Hinkle. He's been serving as interim CEO, and he takes that role. And you've just recently named John England as a VP over contract and trade. Several good leaders.
So, a lot of the guys and gals that I grew this company with are retiring now. I'm in my 60s, and a lot of them have opted to enjoy the rest of their lives in the non-working environment. I'm still here. I'm still working, and I'm trying to build a robust new management team that is working together, preserving our culture. John England is a great addition to our contract and trade division, has a tremendous experience in resilient flooring, and we're excited to have him on board. John Hinkle really did a fantastic job for the 7 months where we had an acting and interim CEO, and we saw that he had a much greater vision. And I would say when you have a CFO who understands the business, not just the numbers, it's really a superpower. And I now see Imran and John Hinkle sitting atop, really making important decisions together, running them by me and the board, but I'm empowering these guys to make the important decisions, analyze the data, and drive us for the future. So I'm excited to have as many new faces. Our chief supply chain officer is new, our marketing and sales executive is new, and they're reorganizing their own teams to build them to be really a 21st century company. It's exciting for me to watch. I'm happy to be part of it. Giving up some of the control and daily operations, I believe is a good decision, and I believe it will make our company stronger and more resilient for the future as we drive the growth that has to come at some point.
Well, congratulations on you attracting this talent into the flooring industry from these Fortune 100 companies, Masco and 3M. And it's great to catch up with you. Thanks for telling our listeners about what's been going on with HMTX. Again, been talking to Harlan Stone, Executive Chairman, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.